Asian carp are easily disturbed and will leap out of the water as much as 10 feet into the air. Rocks being thrown in the water, passing trains, geese taking off from the water, and especially motorboats are all things that disturb Asian carp and cause them to leap out of the water. Asian carp can weigh as much as 20 pounds, and with boats moving at high speeds, Asian carp can do serious damage to boats and boaters alike. Many boaters have suffered broken jaws, noses, ribs, arms, and legs from the Asian carp jumping out of the water. How did Asian carp make it into the United States? Is it possible for them to make it into the Great Lakes? Asian carp were originally introduced to the United States to eat algae in ponds. Flooding and human activities enabled the carp to escape from the confined ponds into the Mississippi River basin. They now pose a major threat to the ecology, environment, economy, and way of life to the Great Lakes region. I will use many different interdisciplinary lenses to view the threat Asian carp pose to the Great Lakes. The purpose of this project is to explore the cultural artifact and flow of Asian carp and compare it to Asia's culture and that of the United States. I will also be exploring how Asian carp would affect the culture of the different crafts and material culture found in the Great Lakes region. It is important to explore this because it is a complex problem that is felt nationwide, but especially right here in Michigan. How will Asian carp affect the culture of the Great Lakes region? What can be done or is being done to prevent Asian carp from reaching the Great Lakes? How are Asian carp culturally different in Asia compared to the USA? These are the questions I am using to guide my research. My theory is that the invasion of Asian carp will affect the culture and cultural flows of the location they are invading. Here is a map showing the locations of Asian carp in the United States. In red is where the Asian carp are reproducing. This is mostly along the Mississippi River. In the pink is where Asian carp have been reported to have been spotted. And then the states in green are states that have recorded to have Asian carp. Asian carp have made it into the Illinois River, which connects the Mississippi River to Lake Michigan. Asian carp consume large quantities of food every day, which diminishes the plankton abundance and alters the community composition by facilitating dominance of plankton. This means that Asian carp outcompete the native fish for their food, threatening the survival of the native species. Unfortunately, Asian carp have no natural enemies in the local ecosystems in the United States where they are thriving. Because of this, the rates of reproduction of Asian carp have soared. Even an accidental introduction of a few adult Asian carp into the Great Lakes has a high probability of establishing populations. Now I will ask questions to those who will be most affected by the invasion of Asian carp into the Great Lakes. How would Asian carp affect the culture of the Great Lakes?
If Asian carp were to make it into the Great Lakes, it would be catastrophic for the culture found here, from intense water sports to just relaxing on the water. The broad range of activities that are possible here create the culture of the Great Lakes. The culture of the small beach towns are so unique because the Great Lakes provide so many opportunities for fun with friends and family that are not found anywhere else. Asian carp would make all of these activities impossible. They have the potential to essentially ruin many and all things that make the Great Lakes so great.
How would carp affect the cultural flow of the Great Lakes?
Asian carp making it into the Great Lakes would affect cultural flows. People go to the Great Lakes to teach their children how to fish and how to do water sports and how to drive a boat. These are the best moments that families share with loved ones, especially with hopes that the traditions continue to be passed down. Asian carp would put an end to these traditions and put an end to the cultural flow from generation to generation. And not just for people living in Michigan, but people all over the world who love to travel to the Great Lakes.
According to the Great Lakes Fishery Commission, Asian carp pose a significant threat to commercial and recreational fisheries of the Great Lakes. Native species would be harmed by the establishment of Asian carp in the Great Lakes, as Asian carp outcompete with them for food and modify their habitat. It has been widely reported that Great Lakes fisheries generate economic activity of approximately $7 billion annually. Asian carp have the potential to eliminate the fisheries of the Great Lakes and the economic activity that they produce. The Great Lakes Fishery Commission literary source encouraged me to do more research into exploring the legal side of the invasion using the interdisciplinary lens of law, ethics, and technology. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers constructed and is operating electrical barriers to prevent fish passage through these waterways. Beginning in 2010, the Obama administration increased federal funding to prevent fish encroachment and related damage. Part of this funding was spent by the Corps to explore options that would achieve hydraulic separation of the Great Lakes and Mississippi River drainage basins. Sound waves, electrical barriers, and surveillance are just a few of the technologies used to protect the Great Lakes from the invasion of Asian carp. Asian carp, a threat to American lakes, a feast on Chinese tables, is a comprehensive review written by 5 food science and agriculture students which describes a cultural flow that has the potential to save the Great Lakes from Asian carp. Using the interdisciplinary lens of health culture, I explored the detailed cultural flow even deeper, as if I were a scientist too. Chinese people have been eating Asian carp for more than 8,000 years, and it is an excellent source of animal protein with a high nutritive value. In Chinese culture, the whole carp is a symbol of prosperity. Many proverbs and allusions depict the goodness of carp, such as when carp are shown to leap through the Chinese dragon's gate, which means a great improvement in someone's career or that a student has passed an important examination. At banquets, it is customary to serve the whole fish last, which signifies reunion and good luck. Americans believe that wild freshwater fish are unsafe because they contain various parasites and germs. These beliefs have resulted in less willingness to buy and eat Asian carp in the United States. Thanks to China's long-standing food culture, the Chinese have accumulated a wealth of experience on how to eat Asian carp. Almost all parts of the Asian carp can be used to make tasty dishes. Although Asian carp has a strong, earthy taste and intermuscular spines, various ways were invented to mitigate such issues. Carp was often deep fried, so the intermuscular spines are crunchy and people can eat them safely. The Maillard reaction during frying produces a variety of aromatic flavors, substances that effectively reduces the earthy taste of the fish itself. In addition, green onions, ginger, garlic, soy sauce, and vinegar are often used to marinate fish before cooking, which can greatly reduce the earthy taste of Asian carp and also give the fish other flavors. Asian carp are rich in proteins, which accounts for about 18% of their body weight. There is almost no significant difference between Asian carp and other freshwater species in their compositional properties. The whole Asian carp can be roughly divided into flesh, bones, skin, offal, fins, scales, and other parts, of which the flesh is the most important edible component and accounts for 40 to 50% of the fish body mass. Fish meat is higher in protein and lower in fat than livestock meat, is easy to digest, and has good nutritive value. In addition, they have a wide range of uses in a variety of fields, which include medical materials, nutraceuticals, and animal feed. The difficulty that the United States faces is how to take advantage of its strengths and turn Asian carp into a valuable commodity, rather than simply trying to prevent them from entering the Great Lakes. It is clear that the perception of Asian carp differs greatly between Chinese and Americans. The biggest obstacle that prevents Americans from consuming Asian carp is their misconceptions and prejudices towards Asian carp. Due to the media that has focused on Asian carp as invasive species that damage local ecosystems and are harmful to the local economy, Americans have developed a negative attitude towards Asian carp. The lack of media coverage of the nutritional and food values of Asian carp and the lack of necessary education about Asian carp have contributed to this negative image. Many experts have proposed some solutions to the problem. Education should be a key part of the marketing campaign for invasive species, such as Asian carp, so that people are fully aware of the potential food source. Successful utilization of invasive Asian carp in the United States will not only allow Americans to consume a variety of delicious Asian carp products, but also effectively mitigate the Asian carp menace while providing jobs to local communities to generate significant economic value.